How old are you?
16.
And you only train jiu-jitsu, or do you do like...
I do MMA too.
MMA?
Yeah.
So have you done an MMA fight, like actually?
Not an actual MMA fight yet, no.
Oh, by the way, Caleb. Yes, we'll go by Caleb.
Caleb.
Unknown last name. Did you actually like have a cage fight?
No, not an actual one yet, no.
Do you want to?
I do, yeah, once I'm 18.
So how did you start training?
I started
How old were you? You were like 13 or something?
Yeah, I started doing Taekwondo when I was 8 originally. And then I started doing Jiu-Jitsu when I was 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do Muay Thai at all?
I've done Muay Thai before, yeah.
Okay. I've done it, but I don't do it.
Yeah, I don't
I'll be honest, I don't like Muay Thai. It's really...
No.
It sucks.
I don't like it much.
You gotta punch a lot and get kicked and kick people.
The stance is really awkward too.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a huge noob when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So, you started in Taekwondo, and then you did Jiu-Jitsu, and a little bit of Muay Thai. Anything else?
Some kickboxing.
So you never trained Aikido?
No, I've never trained.
Okay, but you do have the Aikido patch on.
I do have the Aikido patch. It's because
So so I vaguely actually do remember the story, but tell me the story of how you got the Aikido patch on your Jiu-Jitsu gi.
So, there was a local gym in town that has an Aikido black belt and a karate black belt at it, and he wanted to learn some Jiu-Jitsu because one of his students also trains with us. So, we go over to his gym after his class, and me and my dad, and we're trying to show him moves.
Wait, so how did you get introduced to this guy? Did he come in and was like, hey, I want to train Jiu-Jitsu?
So we have a student that trains at our gyms who trains karate at this guy's gym as well. So he was telling the head instructor at the karate gym about our jiu-jitsu gym, and the karate gym instructor was interested in it. Mm-hmm. So we said, yeah, we'd go over and show you a couple things after your class, right?
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And we thought so, but he was kind of being a dickhead about it.
So you went over to show him, he wanted to learn, hey, let me learn jiu-jitsu. You went over to show him
that's what it was told to us, but apparently he wanted more of a fight club thing. When we went over there...
So did you do a fight club with him? What happened?
Well, no, so we went over there, and he we were trying to show him moves, but the whole time he was, staring off. And
so he wasn't even watching?
He wasn't watching the moves. He was barely doing the reps or anything, and then after about, probably 20 minutes of drilling, he's like, so what do you guys think? Maybe we could, you could do some rolling or something like that? And Dad's like, well, yeah, I mean, we can. So Dad kind of went with him first, and they did, a 5-minute flow roll. Which
and this is the karate guy or the Aikido guy?
The karate and Aikido guy are the same guy.
The same guy? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a different guy.
Yep, he's a karate black belt and Aikido black belt.
So this is a double black belt, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a badass. You have to watch out.
You have to respect the double black belt.
So I get a roll with him, and he actually hits a trip on me right away and puts me on my ass. And he kind of catches me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it lit a fire.
Like a foot trip or something?
Yeah, you know when they grab your wrist here and then they just kick your foot out as you step in?
Yeah.
He caught me with that, and I slipped. And he got me down, but then I stood up, got to his back, and hit a mat return, and got him down, and tapped him with a rear naked in 20 seconds.
Okay.
And then
it was like a 5-minute round or something?
Yeah, it was a 5-minute round, but he only rolled 2 of the minutes with me.
What? Okay, so what happened? Okay, so what happened in the 2 minutes, and what happened after?
5 submissions. So I tapped him with the rear naked first because he was he
trying to hit you at all, or was
he was being really spazzy. He was doing the weird shit on the feet where they kind of tap your forehead and stuff like that from here, and he was being really spazzy on the ground. So I got him to the ground again with a hip toss this time.
Okay.
And then I hit an arm triangle on him. Then I hit arm bar on him from pulling guard. Mm-hmm. Then I pulled single leg X on him and hit an ankle lock on him. And then I just did a standing guillotine, and then he was like, oh, I'm going to take a break. And I was like, that's probably a smart idea.
Didn't make it. So you just ended there, or was that...
Yeah, he was done.
That was the whole class?
Yeah, so he was like, well, I think I'm good. And we were like, well, okay, if you ever want to actually come learn some, here's our gym, and... but he never showed up again.
He never showed up again?
Never showed up again. But I feel like since he was a double black belt, that makes me an Aikido black belt because I whooped his ass.
I mean, kind of. And So did you buy the patch online or did you like find one in person?
No, we were at Taekwondo outlet store getting a bunch of uniforms for the kids class, and they had like these 99-cent patches. So I almost got a Judo one.
Okay.
But then I saw an Aikido one, and I was
you
like...
probably should do. There were some Judo guys with
I know, exactly. But then I saw an Aikido one, and I was like, well, there's nobody who does Aikido that's going to fuck me up. So I was just like...
I just want to point out that we didn't do a flow roll. When the guy and I rolled, I standing guillotined him 3 times.
Okay. So you rolled with them too?
I rolled him first. I standing guillotined him 2 times, and I was just like, okay, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, you know what, man? Why don't you get some rolls in with Caleb, and I'm gonna go get some working with my student.
Was Caleb a blue belt at the time?
No. I was 15 and a green belt.
Full
You were
disclosure,
15
I
and a
called
green
Brett
belt?
before we went over, and I was like, hey man, listen, like this has been issued. I don't know what we're going into, but I was like, I really don't want to be a dick. You know, like I view this as an opportunity to maybe like recruit some more students or like show that what we do works. And then when I got out, Brett was like, yeah, man, just be like really respectful. You know, don't beat his ass in front of the students.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. He's like, just show him some stuff. And he's like, I would really focus on these series. And I was like, all right, cool. I appreciate the heads up. And so then when I got that's literally what we went in there intending to do. And then I get there, and I'm trying to instruct the guy.
So it was just him and no.
It was him and the guy who already trains with us, just the 2 of them. He did it after.
Okay, so the
class.
mutual friend.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, all right, well, I'm trying to like show stuff, and Caleb's right. He's just like he's not
even watching when you're showing.
And he was just, I was like, hey man, are you getting this stuff okay? And he's like, honestly, man, I just thought kind of we get some rolls in, I can see what it's all about. And I'm like, all right,
that's like a loaded question.
It really was. It felt like it did feel like a challenge. Like in the room at the time, I was like, oh, all right,
it's a challenge then.
So I'm like, well, why don't you and I get some rolls in? Caleb, get some work with Brian. He like a really like just shitty shot. Like tried to like wrap me up around the way. I think he was going to try and like throw me like one of those like double underhooks and like hit the toss. He just like reached in, and every time it was just like guillotine.
Yeah.
Guillotine. And then I was like, I guillotined him like 2 or 3 times. I was like, all right, why don't you get some working with Caleb? You know. Mm-hmm. And the part that Caleb also didn't tell you is when the guy shot in. When Caleb was pissed when he hit that trip because Caleb was just kind of like screwing around with him. The guy hit a trip and Caleb like hit the ground, was probably on the ground for like less than a second. He like hit it and popped right back up, and his whole face was like, "Oh my!"
So it's on.
And he took the dude's back, and he was gonna suplex him. He started to lift, and I went,
"Oh, you had to call him
like
off."
that, and Caleb kind of,
you had to call him off the Caleb said Matt returned.
He sat me down and was like, and like Matt
so you gently returned to the mat.
He had so much control of him that we had enough time to have this like non-verbal exchange that took like 20 seconds.
I almost fucking Kevin Randleman's.
Yeah, he literally looked at him and I was like, no man,
that would have been dirty.
We're not doing that today.
So he totally glanced over that. He's like, yeah, sorry, Matt returned him. I was like, okay.
Yeah. No. It was much more.
I get pissed about that shit though,
because
I weigh 130 pounds, so for when bigger dudes just like toss me around, I get right back up and I'll try to toss you around.
Well, here's the thing.
Man.
That's the game, right? If
exactly.
If you want to play toss around, let's play toss around.
That's how I feel about it.
I think it's fun though. It's like for me, I like it. Once the fire gets going, it's like okay, let's play.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. It's like my whole thing was like we just went over there.
Right, you went over there
not to do that.
Right, that was literally not the point.
I literally called Brett and was like, hey, how do we handle this in like a respectful way? Like you've been around a long time, right?
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, man, just don't attack him. Like just don't beat the shit out of him. Try to chill.
And so, so after Caleb tapped him out a bunch of times and he couldn't finish the 5-minute round, did he just leave? Did you guys leave?
No,
was he gassed or what happened?
So he and I trained Taekwondo back in the day. I have a 2nd degree black belt in it, right? Like he and I trained with some of the same guys. So I was really respectful afterwards. I was like, well, I hope you learned something here. And I was like, maybe in the future we can like cross train. I was like, yeah. And like when things aren't so crazy, I'm like, yeah, it's crazy out there right now. So when things calm down, if you ever want to like tighten that up, or if there's we'd be happy to work something out. And then he and I we shook hands. I did his little bow. I know their culture, so I was trying to be as
of course,
as you can be in a situation that's like
Fight Club on
yeah,
accident.
It was such a stupid Fight Club. Like I don't know what it's.
It wasn't a Fight Club. More it was like, okay, so here's actually so I've actually thought about this, right? So I've seen how Aikido practitioners practice, and they do live forms with partners, and it's like grappling.
Yeah.
So they have, it's like repping with no resistance, except the person is like doing the flip for them. So they're getting muscle memory of someone helping them execute techniques.
Yes.
And they think, but the problem is it's built into your muscle memory that this works. And when you go with someone who's built muscle memory of people trying not to let you do it, and it works, then that's what Jiu-Jitsu essentially is. And so I feel like he thought he could grapple more because he had that kind of sparring.
I think so, and I think he had rolled with our like super white belt student because the whole thing is like basically
because they train together.
So like how it basically started was our student was like, man, you gotta like see what we learned in Jiu-Jitsu last night because he got really amped up on Jiu-Jitsu. So the guy was just like really, I think genuinely did have some interest just because like. And the way it all came about is he was like, I've been trying to show him something we're working on. He's really interested. And he goes, but man, you guys will show me stuff, and I came over there and master blank. He's like, I just can't.
You can't do it.
He's like, I can't tap him. He's really tough. And I went,
well, because there's a new white belt, right?
Yeah, he's a new white belt. So I looked at him. I was like, hey, I love you, buddy, but I was like, that's because you do stuff wrong, man. I was like, I guarantee you, if I send even Caleb out there, that's a different outcome. He's like, oh man, you guys definitely should come out there. He's like, and I was like, listen, talk to blank. And I was like, and I will, if he opens an invitation, I'm happy to come. I'm not going to show up at someone's place and step on their toes. And he was like, oh, dude, like he's all about
just basically.
So his guy like became this intermediary.
Yeah.
Part, and I think his guy kind of was also kind of like curious because he was like, he's trying to like do stuff that we're showing him, it's not working on the guy, but he was doing it wrong.
Well, I would be too. Because I've been in the position where I've been trying to explain something and it's not as good as the person who told it to me. No, hear it from them.
Yeah. And so like it's like I think he brought us out there. Partially just to be like, show this guy this works. And so I think this guy thought, like, I'm going to show them that Aikido also works because I use Aikido on this guy all the time. It works. And
that makes sense.
It just didn't.
Because it's just a white belt, and a white belts be white belts.
Yeah, it's just white belts being white belts. And probably so he was training Aikido and like floor rolling him. So you talk about muscle memory, like what was our student also have burned into his muscle memory? Oh, when he does this, I'm supposed to fall over.
Yeah,
because he show up where it's like,
he already had the programmed responses built in.
Exactly. So like when they were grappling, he was probably hitting like trips and throws from Aikido that like, when he tried to kill and I were just like,
how salty do Aikido practitioners have to be that they've trained being the bitch and it's in their muscle memory?
Right, but like that's like, okay, so if you're watching this video and that's your thing, like just go train Jiu-Jitsu. Like you can solve this problem tomorrow. Stop being a bitch and go train Jiu-Jitsu.
Just train Jiu-Jitsu.
Just admit, it's like when you dated the wrong girl for like a really long time, right? You can fix it at any point in time. You just be like, you know what, this girl's crazy. It's time to break up and I'm just going to go date a half.
Do powerlifting Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, like just.
Can we officially open it up to the challenge of any Aikido black belt? What are the exact specific stipulations and where they can go?
If their primary discipline is Aikido. Now, obviously, if somebody comes and they're like, oh, I do Aikido and I'm a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, I'm like, yeah, well, you're going to use Jiu-Jitsu to beat me.
I'll issue
But
the
if you're going to
official
come in and you just want to use your straight Aikido against my Jiu-Jitsu, like I don't even use any of my kickboxing, any of my MMA background, any of that. I'll just be like, straight up, you use Aikido, and I'll put a gi on.
Okay.
Like, you know how much I don't like to do gi. Like, I'll put a gi on, you put your Aikido gi on, and we'll just run a straight traditional Aikido versus Jiu-Jitsu and just see what happens. And we can also just have a fight if they want. But,
okay. Wait, and then so Caleb, the 16-year-old, this guy, he has the patch, so he's the one who
tell me the address.
They can come in, like 6480 Technology Ave, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 49009. Come in. I will have them grapple with Caleb any day of the week.
You have a website, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put a link in the website. So, yeah, so primary martial art has to be Aikido.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be the only one. Like Aikido and karate. Like if you're
I'm issuing it. If Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu, come in.
No. Okay. So like, here's the thing though. If they've already done Jiu-Jitsu, they've already done this, right? So Aikido just has to be the primary one. But it's not like you're gonna be picky. Like if you're an Aikido black belt, that means you put time in. You want
No, I'm sit here. Like, I just want to you sit with us, Caleb. All right. So here's the thing, man. Like, you
sit with us. Come on, you're in the deal.
No, you're fine.
It's not on.
So here's the thing. Like, this is what you guys need to understand. Like, if Chase was here, our teammate, like, he would explain. So we're all sitting down here at like, we're all hopped up on like competing because we just did SJJI off Worlds, right? So like, if Chase was here, this is 100% what I think he would say.
What would he say?
He would just be like, yeah, man, Aikido's just bullshit. And they just need to accept that, and then you need to stop doing it. It's like, this is really simple. Like, I'm sorry that Steven Seagal lied to you. I'm sorry you watched a bunch of movies in the 80s. Like, look, guys, I got into martial arts because I watched a ton of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies in the 80s, and I was just like, I'm going to learn that, and then no one's ever going to be able to fuck with me again. And it just doesn't work. Like the first time, I was even like a black belt in Taekwondo, had done a little kickboxing, and the first time I got in the ring with a guy who knew Jiu-Jitsu, I kicked him hard once, and he was like, that's cool, and he took me down and beat the fuck out of me. So that was it.
So how hard is it to actually, like, so I basically just did, I did kids martial arts when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But like, that didn't count. So, but then I basically just did Jiu-Jitsu, right? I never wrestled, I just got into Jiu-Jitsu because it was fun. And so, what's it like earning a black belt in another martial art, and then coming in, and then it's like you learn that you might get your ass kicked a little bit.
Yeah, so like I view that as like there's a lot of things I've done in my life that are really good for me that maybe aren't what they thought what I thought they were, right? Like, and Taekwondo for that was me. It was like I enjoyed it. It was a big part of my life. I was competed. I was a state champion 2 years running. I was ranked number 11 in the nation. Like, no, that's bad. I learned a lot of discipline. I learned a lot of good stuff from it. I learned how to kick really hard from it.
Okay.
Right? And it like at the time it helped me get back in shape. Like there was a lot of benefits to it. But like hands down in a fight, I tell my own students this all the time, and I teach Taekwondo. I'm like, hands down in a fight, I'm gonna use my Jiu-Jitsu. Like 10 times out of 10. Not 9 times out of 10, like 10 times out of 10. If a dude rolls up in the street, he's like, hey man, we're gonna go. I'm gonna be like, well, time for Jiu-Jitsu. It's just, you've got it, like when reality throws itself in your face, you just have to accept it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you don't have to, because what happens to the Aikido guys who don't show up?
They just like, here's what they're gonna do, I'm gonna call it. They're gonna comment on this video, they're gonna shit talk, and then they're just gonna go, like they're gonna never come, they're never gonna go to a Jiu-Jitsu school and see if it's true. They're just gonna like bury themselves back in their delusion.
Yeah, no, a good portion of them, yeah. Someone will come in, we'll see.
Dude,
look, here's the thing. Okay, if you make
an appointment, if you don't just show up, I'll make sure Chris is there. Like you guys can test your Aikido against any one of us who want to.
If you do it in advance, yeah, you gotta have it. You can't. I'm not gonna be there every day, so you have to give me in. But Caleb will be there almost every day.
Every day of the week.
Anytime.
Okay, so if they beat you up, you'll give them the patch. Like what happens if they beat you up?
If they are managed to tap me more times in a 5-minute round, then I can tap them.
Okay, that's like a fair measurement.
Then I will give you my blue belt, my Naga championship belt,
come on,
and my gi with the patch on it.
Came in and straight used Aikido to beat my ass. I will literally come train Aikido with you. I will be like, you are so right. I have been so wrong. Because that's how I got here, right? Like I tried to use kickboxing and Taekwondo to like beat a grappler, and I got my ass kicked, and I was just like, dude, what the hell is that? No, it was literally a guy who just like came into our gym to get some work in, and I was like the striking guy, and and they were like, hey, get some work in with this guy, and so like I landed a heavy leg kick. I could tell he didn't like it, and he was like, and he just kind of like nodded and that like, yeah, not bad, bro. And then he like shot, and we hit the ground, and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And like I knew what, like I'd watched MMA, I knew what Jiu-Jitsu was, but in my mind I was just like literally I was that guy who's like, I just sprawl.
Yeah, right.
I'd just sprawl, and then we'd get back to it. Or like, if he took me down, I'd find a way back up, and I'd punch him in the face. And we got down there, and we were doing rounds with like 3 5-minute rounds. It was like 15 minutes of just like, I can't. Like, and I would even had a round to start back up, and I'd be like, this time we're not going to the ground.
So you would stand back up.
And I would just get taken down again and just punished. It was like the most frustrating experience of my life, just to be like, there was nothing I could do, just taken down.
Okay, so if they learn the Aikido, you'll train with them, and they get all your belt patches. Yeah. But they gotta tap you in more times you tap them in 5-minute round. That's fair. That's a fair challenge.
That's a fair challenge.
Or we can do no holds barred fighting.
No, look. The Gracies already did that.
It's already been done, bro.
It's already been done. We're more. It's a more civilized time, right?
I have a buddy who was a pro MMA fighter. One of those guys that I helped train, like corner and stuff. And he would always just be like, man, you know how you beat a boxer? And I'd be like, how? He's like, you just don't want him to hit you, man. Like, all they do is punch. So if they can't punch you, they don't win. Get it? And I'm like, God, that's like in a weird way, you're not wrong.
I had a talk with Lauren about this with one of Chase's sayings about like just stand up in like jiu-jitsu. Because like
he's not technically wrong.
He yells it all the time when you're like in a shitty position. He's like, just stand up. And the irony is like it's very, very difficult to just stand up because they're like smashing you down. But also, if you like train like enough time, like if a white belt is on top of me, like I'm literally like fuck you, I'm standing up.
Yeah,
like
if
a white belt's trying to like smash me in like side control, I'm rude about it too. I'll stand up and I'll like look at them and
derisively pathetic, like that meme where it's just Principal Skinner and he's like pathetic.
I do that to people though, and it's hilarious because they get offended. It's funny.